There is no innovation or creativity without failure. That's a quote from Brene Brown, who is the author of Daring Greatly. And we're not doing her book this month because I have a really, really fantastic book for the month of April. This is Time for Books at lipsyncing.com with Yvonne Divita. And our book for April is Fortune is in the Failure by Katie Myers. And this is a recent book. Katie just did it this year. It's really a fabulous look at how we communicate. So the subtitle is What You Say in Business Matters. And I don't think I could have put it better. Everything you say matters, but especially in business. You have to remember that communication is the #1 tool in your toolbox. And so when you don't communicate well, or when you communicate in a way that isn't reaching the right audience, you're probably not going to get anywhere. Now, the reality is that failure is something we all do at one time or another. John Maxwell has a book, Failing Forward, kind of a thing. But I love Katie's idea that fortune is in the failure and how what you say in business matters. In fact, Kimberly Alexander did the foreword for this book, and I want to read a couple of things that she put in the foreword that are so important and so relevant for those of us who are entrepreneurs. And this is a book for entrepreneurs. So Kimberly Alexander says in the foreword, being an entrepreneur takes a lot of grit, drive, determination, and the ability to make positive change. If you're tired of being a victim and really ready to do this thing, fortune is in the failure will be forever game-changing for your business. Say hello to success and squash failure for good. It's so important when you become an entrepreneur and go into business for yourself that you not set the high expectation of, I'm never going to be wrong, I'm never going to fail, I'm never going to have problems. Even the best of us, when we plan and prepare, end up failing at something and having problems. I'm big on creativity, and I am big on supporting women in whatever they do. But I'm also big on the fact that no one's perfect. I have failed so many times in my life, and some of them sent me to my room crying, curled up in bed like a baby. But you then have to get up and you have to start over. This book is sort of about that. It's about how Katie did fail here, there, and how she is talking now about how you have to understand what that failure is about. You kind of have to understand the communication level of, is that where it came from? And I do think a lot of failures come from the fact that we don't communicate well. But I also think that I want to read a couple other things from the book. It's really so important for the new entrepreneur, for the struggling small business owner. Katie says, this might be the biggest takeaway in the book, and it's in the very beginning. I almost wish she had repeated it at the end. There are two things human beings want more than anything in this world: to be heard and to know that we matter. Wow. Are you being heard? Do you feel like you matter? Can you make sure that you hear and listen to your clients, your audience, your would-be customers, and make sure they feel like they matter? She goes on to say, we have the power to change the world simply by changing the way we communicate. I write about communication. Words are like my playground, but I often miscommunicate. And I miscommunicate because I spend too much time thinking about what I'm trying to say, because I act like so many of us that it's important what I'm saying and you should listen to me. But the reality is the listener manages and makes the conversation real. The listener owns the conversation, not the person speaking. So when I do a workshop or create a webinar or write a book, I'm trying very hard not to lecture. Even today, lecturing is out. Lecturing is out. Even keynotes don't lecture. They're funny. They perform. My daughter Chloe is a really great speaker, and it's because she loves performing. It isn't just talking to people. It isn't just standing somewhere trying to tell people what to do or how to feel or, you know, what to put in their notes. It's performing. And when you perform, you do it in response to something that you've learned from your audience. I'm still learning my audience here at lipsticking.com with time for books. So I'm bringing books that are important to me, books that I think you will enjoy, books that I think you will learn enough from to enhance or build your business better in 2018. But I don't know that I'm achieving this if you don't tell me. I don't know if you don't participate in the conversation whether I am giving you the content you need. I know that Fortune is in the Failure is a book. It's a small book. It's extremely focused on helping you build that kind of a communication level that is more listening than speaking, so to speak. One of the things Katie taught me early on that kind of blew me away was to start thinking about how do your customers, clients, how does your audience want to be communicated with? So I am not a very big phone person. If you call me on the phone, I look to see who it is, and I might answer it and I might not, because I don't like to talk on the phone. You have to email me. You may contact me on Facebook if you like. But maybe you're not like that. Maybe you like to talk on the phone. Well, then it's incumbent upon me to talk on the phone with you. It's incumbent upon me to understand how you prefer to be communicated with. And then we can find a mutual place to communicate if we're that far apart. So maybe we can text. Texting is okay. I understand why people text. It's harder for those of us who are not of the generation. I mean, I can. It takes me forever to make a text, but I'm getting better at it. But I understand it. I understand Facebook messaging, because that's another way to communicate without having to talk. And I don't have an answer for why I don't like to talk. Here I am talking. And I do like to talk when I'm networking or in groups or whatever. I don't like to be the silent person in the room. I do listen, but I often have an opinion that I share. So today, what I want you to think about for the month of April, as we do Fortune is in the Failure, a really, really great, important book for 2018. I want you to think about that. Think about how you communicate. Think about whether you're communicating in the way that your customer client wants you to communicate. Think about what you're sharing. Have you been listening? Have you asked the right questions so that you're then sharing the right content? And we're going to have Katie on the show. I called Katie. Actually, I emailed Katie. She prefers not to be emailed, so big mistake on my part, but she's an awesome, awesome person, and we are friends as well as colleagues, and I was her client once. Anyway, so I emailed her and she got back to me and said, yeah, sure, I'll be on the show. And how awesome is that? I really want to have more authors on the show so we can talk to them about their books. But this will be the first one. Katie Myers, author of Fortune is in the Failure and part of lipsticking.com's Time for Books. This is Yvonne Divita saying goodbye for today. See you next week.